At Federal, we have products for every season and every pursuit. Our passionate and dedicated teams design, build, and deliver the world's best American-made ammunition, whether you're hunting, target shooting, or defending yourself and family. Our pride and hard work can be found in every box, ammo can, or bottle of ammunition. For us, it's always in season. It's Federal season.
Welcome to Federal Ammunition's podcast. It's Federal season. I'm Jason Vanderbrink, president at Federal, along with Jason Nash, the vice president of marketing. Our podcast today is a timely one as the USA is getting ready to compete in the Olympics in Tokyo. We are fortunate enough to be joined by the men's trap duo of Derrick Mine and Brian Burrows that will represent Team USA in Japan. We're so honored to have both of you join us today.
It's an honor to be here.
Before we get started on the questions part, here is a little bio on both of our guests. Derrick Mine's background. Derrick grew up on a farm in Kansas, got his love for the outdoors at an early age, following his dad when he went out quail and deer hunting. He started shooting clays at the age of 8 and his dad in a small league at a local gun club. The list of accomplishments are long. NSCA champion for sporting clays, ATA Grand American AAA high all-around, world and state championships, and the pinnacle of representing the United States in the Olympics. Brian Burrows' background. Brian started shooting at an early age and was competing in the American Trap Association by the age of 8. In 2004, Brian started shooting at an international bunker. Since then, he has won on every level, both domestically and internationally. He came out of retirement to win a spot on the trap team on March 3rd, 2020, with the games only to be delayed. He took home the gold medal at the Pan Am Games in 2019, earning an Olympic quota spot for Team USA. In his spare time, Brian enjoys dirt biking, skydiving, surfing, skating, wakeboarding, and hunting. So, interesting background on both of you all. So let's start with the questions, and we'll start with Derrick. So Derrick, I've known you and your family forever, and your competition experience is long and distinguished. How do you compare the Tokyo Olympic Games, to your other competitions that you've won?
It's probably as nerve-wracking as any competition I've been preparing for, and it was without a doubt the hardest thing I've ever had to do to make the Olympic team, as far as anything with a shotgun, that is. Without a doubt, the greatest challenge of my life.
Brian, Tokyo's 2 months away. Your ride's been a little different than Derrick's. You actually made the team in 2012, but the spot wasn't qualified, and you had to watch the London Games from home. With the wait being so long, how was the ramp up to this event, and how was your anticipation level?
You know, it has been a different road, and the wait getting to where we are right now, where we're 2 months out, can't tell you how excited I am to go to the games with Derrick, and not being able to qualify the U.S. for 2 quads, as a country, it was kind of difficult, but being able to have qualified and get to go it's exciting. And it's, even though we've had a little bit of a hiccup with the delay of the games there, I'm so excited. This has been shooting the Olympic style for 15, 17 years with Derrick, and it's been a long road, but can't tell you how excited I am.
Yeah. So Brian and I actually shot off in 2007 for the first half of the Olympic trials. We shot off for 4th place, I believe, didn't we?
Third or fourth. It was a long time ago.
That's interesting.
So, guys, obviously we all know about the delay this year in the games. How have you been able to keep your excitement level up to represent the U.S.? Brian, how about starting with you?
That's been one of the more difficult aspects of the delay. You think about we've got all this extra time to train and prepare, but it's difficult to know how to ramp up. For the first half, we didn't know if there were going to be games, if it was a postponement or if it was a cancellation. So being able to manage our expectations has been difficult. Roller coaster of emotion, week by week and month by month. But for the last few months, it's been, full send on the Olympics. So we've been training and just coming together as a team and getting just really excited. I think this past weekend we came together as an Olympic team, and I'm sure Derrick felt it too. But kind of the energy leading up to the games and coming together as Team USA is just it's starting to get tangible. It's starting to get real. It's not delayed anymore. It's here.
That's great. And then Derrick, I know you stay busy shooting other disciplines. How have you remained focused on the games?
Well, for me, there was the initial disappointment when the games got postponed, but once they kind of confirmed that they were going to happen again, it was kind of nice to get that break after the grueling process of making the team. And I think that helped re-energize me as along with going and shooting all the other games. I've always just loved shooting clay pigeons, whether that be trap skeet, sporting clays, Olympic trap, whatever it is, I like to participate. So being able to go do all that stuff allowed me to kind of stay active with a shotgun without burning myself out on Olympic trap. And now that we're got the hard go and we're driving forward, my mind's still fresh on Olympic trap, and I'm able to focus hard and get the work done that's needed.
That's great. So what if you guys could share, maybe starting with you, Derrick, what's your travel itinerary going to be like for the games? When do you get there? Do you have time to acclimate? Do you have X number of practice rounds before you start?
This being my first games, I'm not sure what it'll entail, especially with COVID restrictions and stuff. Right now, it looks like we're going to go over 6-7 days in advance of the opening ceremonies, but we're not sure what we're going to be able to do once we get there. So hopefully, we'll be able to get as much training in as we can and be ready to go come July 28th.
Brian, how about in terms of expectations for the games? Obviously, you've had ups and downs emotionally and getting ready for this. How you staying focused, and what do you think? Any predictions for us?
It's ever since I can remember watching the games and hearing the stories from other Olympians that have gone to the games in different sports. There's a lot of consistency in what they experienced, and with Team USA House and coming together as a team and then experiencing the competition and with the other countries as well. So this game, we're not sure. I'm excited and I'm focusing on just representing our country at the games. And anything past that is going to be great. I'm not sure. We just kind of have to keep it fluid. So I'm not sure what we'll be able to do, if we'll be able to go support our other teammates in other sports, or if we'll be able to, just support one another. But we're there to do a job, and we're excited to do it. And I think we just kind of have to take it as it comes. And there's going to be some ups and downs with all the restrictions, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crossed wires and just a lot of changes along the way. But I think as long as we stay focused, it'll be a great game. So it'll be a great experience.
As far as families over there, is the policy not having families be spectators?
Correct. So as I understand it right now, and things can change, hopefully, but we are not allowed to bring family. I just got married a month ago. My new wife, we've been planning to, for her to come to the games, and my family has supported me forever and ever. And as of right now, they're not able to go, so they will be supporting from back home.
And what countries do you foresee as being your toughest competition?
There's a couple of good countries out there. Italy always has a strong team. Australia has a good team too. And a lot of these guys, Derek and I have met and have shot with and against and are friends with for known for years. So there's some good countries out there. Probably Italy, Australia. But I think we're fielding a pretty strong team. So we're going to get in there and do battle.
So when you get to the line and you're on the competition or just before you start shooting, do you both have different kinds of mental preparations that you're going to go through?
You know, um, no different than what I've been working on for the last 17 years. It's another shoot, and it's just a clay target. I'll focus on the process, what I know I need to do, how I need to move, how I need to see the target, and that's how I'll mentally prepare. That's what I will focus on, and I'll treat it just like any other competition. And then when it's over, we can look at it in a little bit different light.
Yeah, for me, anytime I go to a big competition, whether it's been a world championship, the national sporting clays, any of the biggest stuff I've shot in, there's always an extra energy that you get with being there, and sometimes that can lead to anxiety and nervousness and stuff. So I try and corral that extra energy to pump me up and help me execute my game plan a little better when I actually get on the line. So hopefully I'll be able to harness that extra energy this time around and maybe get to meet Brian on the podium.
Could one of you, Derek, could you explain the difference between the international trap and the trap that everyone is used to when they go to their local gun club and shoot?
Uh, the biggest difference that people are going to notice right off the bat is speed of the target. An ATA target is roughly 41, 42 miles an hour, and an Olympic trap target is anywhere from 58 to almost 70 miles an hour, depending on the height of it. But then you've got a bunker trap. The house is actually at ground level, and the machines are underground. There's 15 machines. 3 machines are set for each of the 5 shooting locations. And over the course of a round, you're going to get 2 lefts, 1 straightaway, and 2 rights off each post.
But you don't know when the left, right, or straight, or you don't know.
Yeah, they're random order. If you're really paying attention, you might be able to know 6 or 7 of your last 10 targets.
Is it 16 yards?
It's 15 meters.
Okay.
The target comes out of the house at 15 meters, but the target gets thrown 76 meters. So it gets chucked out there quite a ways.
And the load, talk to our listeners about the load that you'll be shooting.
So I use the gold medal paper, 24 gram of 7.5. That's the ISSF regulation for the Olympic event. It creates a smaller pattern. Makes you have to be a little more precise with your shots to be successful in breaking targets.
Is there a delay after you say pull?
Not in trap. The delay comes in Olympic skeet, where the target can come instantaneous to up to 3 seconds. But in trap, it's an instantaneous pull.
We're biased, right? But we all love paper shells, right? The smell. What is there anything else about that load that really helps you prepare and be confident going up to the line?
It's such a consistent shell. It's got great shot, really consistent powder load. So your recoil is always the same, the speed's always the same, and the feel is always the same. Even when you change lots, you'd never notice any difference in the shells. And so that consistency helps me be consistent, knowing that my equipment's always going to be the same, and what changes is always me, not the equipment.
Brian, how about you in terms of your routine? You talked a little bit about how you get yourself up for a competition. Um, Talk a little bit about your gun and your ammo and your routine.
Yeah, so we use the same ammo, gold medal papers. And one thing that I like that I know Derrick likes too, is that, they are extremely consistent. And that's what we want, or need in this game to be successful in all aspects. But it's not a sharp recoil either. We get 2 shots. So it's important for us to stay on target for the second shot. And, not having a sharp recoil definitely helps with that. And you notice it, when you shoot as many targets and rounds as Derrick and I, the little things are what you notice. And that's one thing that stands out to me. And I absolutely, love it. Ever since I was a kid, that was the gold medal standard. That's what everybody was wanting with. And it's just a great show.
Awesome. I think, one of the great things about shooting is it's a sport you can enjoy later in life too. Um, are you guys, how about starting with you, Derrick? Are you planning to keep after this Olympic dream and go, after you have success here, go on to Paris 2024?
That's kind of hard to say. Looks like there's a lot of changes coming in the quota places for the upcoming Olympics. Um, I'm gonna have to take some time and really make sure that that's something that I want to put, not only go through myself, but put my family through, trying to chase another Olympics. But if it doesn't appear to be changing too much in my time away, I definitely would like the opportunity to chase another Olympics.
Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I kind of have to mimic a little bit of what Derrick says. It's that, there's a lot of changes coming, and just being able to adapt to that with, um, family life. And if we can adapt our schedules, and I think it would be great, I'd love to do that and chase another Olympics. If it's more in a coaching capacity and let some of the younger guys take a shot at it, then, that'd be great too. But, I think we'll just see what the changes are and how they're coming.
Each of you, what guns are you shooting in this competition?
So I shoot a Prozzy MX8.
What length barrels?
I shoot a 30-inch barrel. It's got a 6 millimeter rip.
In what choke?
So it's an improved mod on the bottom, full on the top.
I shoot a Kohler Arms Max Light with the ramp tapered rib, and I shoot 32-inch barrels with improved modified on the first shot, full on the second.
That's awesome. It's really interesting to hear about the different disciplines and the gear. You both started shooting obviously at a very young age after going through some of your background. What's one of the great things right now is that we've got a resurgence of interest in our sports. People are getting out and trap shooting and all clay target shooting disciplines right now. What one tip could you give to someone who's a young kid starting out in the sport, what they should do to continue to get better and thrive in the sport?
Yeah. So my best advice is always to go out and have fun. But the best way you can help yourself get better is find someone that knows and understands the sport and can help you with the basic fundamentals. And as you progress in the sport, you're going to start to see other people around you that maybe are taking lessons from certain people or other people that've been there themselves, and you can get a feel for who you think would be a good coach to attach yourself with to help further your progression on your skills. But the biggest thing is go out and have fun, enjoy the game as best you can.
Perfect. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I think what Derrick said is great and spot on. And to add to that, I think one thing that helped me when I was younger was gun fit. I had a problem with gun fit for a number of years, changing things around, trying to get it to fit. And for somebody starting off, you can lessen the curve if you have proper gun fit. And you can go to a coach like what Derrick said, or maybe go to the gun manufacturer, go to a seasoned gunsmith, and just make sure that your gun's set up for you, where it's shooting where you're looking. And that way, when you're working on the fundamentals, you're not having to learn things twice. You're not having to battle yourself or battle your equipment. So when you start off, make sure that the gun fits you, and you start working on the fundamentals right away, because that's what's going to lead you into the next progression of your shooting. You know, Derrick and I work on fundamentals every day we go shooting. It's not something that you stop working on. So um, it's going to be with you your entire shooting career. And whether you're shooting targets or whether you're shooting birds, same thing. There's a lot of overlap.
I always find it interesting to hear how different people call for targets. What is that an important thing to think about in terms of consistency of your routine? I mean, what's your signature call?
Yeah, so mine's a little bit different. I used to go with pole, and pole was working fine for years, and through puberty and advancing in years, my voice changed, I believe, and um, I noticed I was getting some late pulls, and like you said, consistency is so important. So I shortened it up, and instead of pull, I went to I, like the letter I. It's sharp, it's quick, it's easy to say. There's not a lot of movement in my face, and it's just that's kind of what I ended on.
Yeah, I had the same trouble. I used to call pull, and I still do when I'm not using a voice release. But on the mics and stuff, it just felt like a more consistent, just a one syllable short. Like I use a ya kind of sound, and it again it doesn't take much facial movement to get a good sharp solid consistent sound to trigger the mics to throw the target.
That's great. I know you definitely hear some interesting calls at the Sporting Clays Championship. Guy I shot with went, ha! There's a whole variety. We'll do a whole episode on that someday. But guys, if really appreciate you being on. If you don't mind, we'd like to keep you on for another segment, because we're going to talk a little bit more about that ammunition that we touched on, and using some training techniques that could help all shooters improve their skills.
Okay.
Yep.
Meet the industry's widest variety of game-changing ammunition. However you shoot and whatever you hunt, fortune favors the prepared. And nothing prepares you better than Federal Premium. It's a gold standard advantage delivered directly from the experts in premium ammunition. Find your Federal Premium advantage today.
Welcome back to It's Federal Season and our technology segment, Tech Talk.
Continuing on our Olympic game theme, there are a record 33 sports this year and 339 events being contested in Tokyo across 42 competition venues. The first medal that will be awarded in the entire Olympics will be won in shooting. On day one of the games, the women's 10-meter air rifle will hand out medals. That is just a neat fun fact. The shooting sports will have 300 competitors, and the disciplines include rifle, shotgun, and pistol.
So, yep, back in 2018, we were fortunate enough through Jason's contacts to become the official ammunition sponsor and supplier of USA Shooting. Now, that's a commitment that we made to support and promote USA Shooting and help to build the team that the best shot shells that they can have to compete at the highest levels of competition. Derrick, starting with you, let's talk about the specific product. We already covered it a little bit last time, but anything else you can say about the gold medal papers that will give you an edge in competition?
For me, when I'm shooting an ammo that breaks targets hard and I'm hanging dust balls, that builds confidence in my game and makes me feel like I'm doing things better. Especially if I'm breaking targets harder than my competition, it really gives me that boost of confidence. And I feel like I get those kind of breaks with the gold medal ammunition.
In terms of, again, on routine, is there anything you do unique about loading or carrying X number of shells in your pocket, anything that keeps you consistent in your routine with the ammunition?
Um, I I dump one box in each pocket when I walk out
Mhm.
onto the field, and I know without a doubt that I'm going to have enough shells in my pocket. Um, I very seldom do I use more than maybe 8 or 10 second shots in a round, as long as I'm shooting a decent round. Um, so I've always got plenty of ammo.
Perfect. Brian, I know you talked a little bit in the previous segment, but anything else on the papers?
Yeah, we touched on the consistency of it. It's so important, especially in this game. There's so many inconsistencies, and especially when we travel abroad, whether it's uh, Italy or Peru or China. Um, all these different places have different ammo, and so different. They also have different backgrounds. There's different air density and humidity. So all these things are inconsistencies that we have to try to manage. And having a consistent shell is just one thing that we don't have to think about. We know how fast it's going. We know what the recoil is going to be like. We know what the pattern's going to be like, and you're trying to manage the other elements. And yeah, maybe you're not hanging smoke balls, but you're kind of getting close. You're going to get that crack of the target. You're going to get that piece. It throws a real consistent pattern, and that's what we look for in ammo, because one target can literally mean the difference between being a gold medalist in the Olympics or not even making the final. And you think about one target, that's less than a second. So that's probably like half a second that you have between gold medal or nothing at all. So that consistency is so important. Um, yeah, absolutely. We love them as a team. Personally, I love them, and I definitely have confidence in it.
Do you guys have coaches today, or is just yourself coach because you've all been shooting for decades? And do you just learn to do and tweak what you need to by yourself, or do you guys have coaches today?
So I think at any level, it's good to have a sounding board, a coach, somebody there to see what you don't see, behind the gun. So we have our national coach, Jay Weger, or excuse me, Jay Waldron. I also personally work with Dwayne Weger, and then Lance Bate is also one of our assistant coaches. So between the three of those guys, we're they're going to catch any inconsistency. And I keep hitting on consistency, but it's just so important. If we don't see it, we don't feel it, maybe we're a little jet lagged, maybe we're a little tight or sore. Those guys are going to catch and be like, moving a little slow. You maybe try this, try that. And it's not like we're remaking the wheel, but those are some of the guys that I like to work with.
Yeah, for me, I've always kind of been self-taught, and I figured out real quick that when it came to bunker trap, I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to be unless I had someone I trusted looking over my shoulder helping. And so I worked a lot with Lance Bade. He's really helped me solidify my game and be more consistent over across a broader range of environments that we shoot in. And then Jay Waldron has helped quite a bit too. Both of those guys have been to the Olympic Games and have been where I wanted to be, and they've been very vital to my success.
Derrick, if you look at this year, I mean, you're getting into the heat of the Sporting Clay tournament and then the Grand American. Are you going to focus strictly on Olympic trap, or are you still going to shoot those other disciplines until the games?
I'm going to shoot the U.S. Open Sporting Clays in June, but beyond that, it's going to be almost all bunker trap through the Olympic Games.
Yep, I'm going to focus primarily on Olympic trap, and there might be some sporting plays or 5 stand or something to break it up, but primarily I'll be focusing on Olympic trap.
One of the things we've talked about on the podcast is the importance of muscle memory or instinct. What do you say, Brian? What's more important?
I think they're equally tied together. your instincts can help you in a direction, but you have to also build that muscle memory to trust your instincts when you get into the heat of battle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, when you're learning, you're working on the muscle memory, repetition, and then when you make that transition from practice into competition or the heat of battle, like Derrick was saying, you know, you have to really merge the muscle memory that you've been working on in practice, and then the instincts, especially when things stop going your way, and you know maybe you start missing some or second barreling some. You need to really manage both sides of those. You need to use your instincts, your God-given talent that you have, but you also need to hone it and focus it down and let your body know what it needs to do.
Brian, just in keeping with, instinct, muscle memory, when you're training, how do you approach sight picture in your leads?
That's one of those things in bunker, especially, that is, for me anyways, I have to be very precise. And depending on the light, the background, how fast the targets are going, the setting on the bunker, I might move my eyes up a little bit or down a little bit, depending on where I want to catch the target coming out. And then that all leads into the final sight picture where I have the target and the gun. And when I make the move, it's not always the same move because all the targets are different. But at the end, it's really important to have that sight picture that you know the target's going to break. It's not a question, you know it. And that's something you work in practice to get and build in and brand that sight picture into your memory.
Derrick, how about you? How do you get into that zone and really focus in on your...
For me, it's all about my pre-shot routine and getting my gun and my eyes set so that sight picture is consistent when the target comes out of the house. Past that point, it becomes all instinctual. And for me, the sight picture when the gun comes into the target, I know that I'm connected and it's time to be pulling the trigger. And if I do something wrong, then I don't get that feeling and usually ends in a miss on the scoreboard. So it's all predicated on the start when the target comes out.
Perfect. So you're both obviously top of your games. You've been in a lot of competitions. How do you deal with pressure and nervousness?
So personally, everybody gets nervous. I think it's important to touch on that. So whether it's a national level match or World Cup or the Olympics, everybody gets nervous. But being able to just really focus on your process, on what you're trying to execute, is really important. It helps you manage those nerves. It helps you manage those emotions. And what Derrick said earlier, where you can funnel that excitement into something productive. And it's just like, quarterback running a play. You know what you want to do and you just execute it.
Derrick, any other thoughts on that? How do you get yourself up?
I think Brian's spot on. You have to be so solid in your foundation and your fundamentals and your process that extra excitement doesn't mess up your thought process as you're executing that game plan. That's where, going back to your instincts and muscle memory, all that work that you've put in ahead of time is all geared towards getting a really solid process to break targets. And then you try and use that excitement and extra energy you get from being in competition to help you almost hyper focus on executing that process.
One last question for both of you. Any superstitions that you do give you good luck?
I don't know if I have any superstitions. I'm sure I have little things that I do, like a pitcher or something where I wiggle my butt a certain amount of times, but that just goes back to consistency. I will tell you one thing that I do. Maybe it's science, maybe it's me, but I like to eat pizza the night before a competition. Carbo load. Also, pizza is my favorite food group, so just an excuse to eat pizza, I suppose.
Pepperoni?
Yeah, I like to eat seafood the night before a competition, and I generally wear pretty much the same pair of socks and underwear for different days of the competition. I've got an order that I gotta
There
wear.
you go. Well, that's an interesting one. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time today. On behalf of everyone who supports the Olympics, we can't wait to see that both of you do well over there. You'll certainly represent our country well, as we know you guys always do in every day that you live. And we look forward to bringing back some medals for the Team USA and for Federal.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having us. It's an honor to get to represent such a great company on the biggest stage in the world.
No, we can't say thank you guys enough for representing this great country that we live in, and we're humbled that you shoot our product. And on behalf of our 4,000 employees, good luck over there and bring home the gold. Okay.
Thank you very much.
There's a time and a place for every season. This is that time, and these are those special places. When preparation gives way to anticipation, rituals, and traditions. Friends, family, forever. This is what you live for. It's time to celebrate the annual tradition like no other. It's Federal season.
Welcome back to It's Federal Season and the News and Notes segment.
Did you know that shooting was one of the 9 sports included in the first modern Olympic Games in 1896 and has only missed 2 Olympic Games since? Women began to compete in shooting at the Mexico 1968 Games, and in 1984 at the Games in Los Angeles, for the first time, there were separate events held as part of the Olympic program. The USA is the most successful nation in Olympic shooting, with a total of 110 medals, 54 of which are gold, and that's double the number won by second-place China. They've got 56 medals and 22 golds. The schedule for the men's and women's trap competition starts with qualification on Wednesday, July 28th, and the finals are set for Thursday, July 29th. Skeet will have qualification rounds on Sunday, July 24th, and the finals are set for Monday, July 25th. If you want to support USA shooting and the hopes and dreams of our Olympic shooting teams, you can do so by purchasing gold medal grand paper shot shells. A portion of each purchase goes to supporting USA shooting as they shoot for the gold. Federal is also excited to be joining Talk North Podcast Network. The network is filled with content talking sports and outdoors. Head to talknorth.com for more and subscribe to the network. Next, look for Federal's attendance at an upcoming family-friendly consumer show. Federal will be at the Ducks Unlimited Expo, also known as the DUX event, June 25th through 27th at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. For more on this event, go to duckexpo.com. Federal will be there with sister company Remington to talk ammo, and we cannot wait to be outdoors again talking everything outdoors with you.
If you like the It's Federal Season podcast, be sure to let us know by filling out a rating and review on iTunes. And remember, for us, it's always in season. It's Federal Season.